with me is Alain, the CEO of Secure. We've talked on Zoom. How many times? a lot during the whole pandemic. And so I'm so looking forward to you're coming to New York soon. So I'm going to be meeting you on March 11th. We're going to do a couple of interviews at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, and then head down to the New York Stock Exchange down on Wall Street and do a couple more interviews there to really get a feel for the company. And it'll just be exciting to meet you in person after all this and get updates on the company. So what are you looking forward to with your trip to New York?
Well, you know, I've always dreamed of going to the NASDAQ and the NYSE, so finally I can check that box. You know, being interviewed in the bastion of capitalism, basically, and it's just like, it's an amazing feeling, you know, to achieve such a thing, to have a company that's finally now public, being recognized. So I'm going to pat myself on the back on that one, and also pat our entire team that has worked with me for more than a decade. So this will be a culmination of that, first step of the culmination. So what I'm looking to achieve when I come to New York, I'm going to meet about 50 different brokers and a few institutions. The goal for us is to identify an institution that can sponsor us to upgrade to the NASDAQ stock exchange in the coming year or year and a half, you know, whatever the time frame the NASDAQ takes. And I'm excited because these institutions and brokers have heard a lot about us. They see our ad on Secure, but we've never met. The story is very compelling. Our revenues are increasing. So by the time I leave New York, really, I would like to have at least a handshake deal with a lead broker, or what they call a sponsor, in order to start the filing process to go to NASDAQ. Also, I'm hoping that during that time, because our audits should be complete by then, we will also have an immediate upgrade to OTCQX, which really validates and vets you, especially before you go to NASDAQ. So a lot of companies are QB, which is nice, but it doesn't have the stringent requirement as QX, like the asset, the history of operation. And there's no shell business on the QX. You know, once you're on the QX, you know, as they say, you're clean. You know, they take you more seriously. So looking forward to see all these financial institutions and brokers doing a ton of presentation. I'm going to be very busy morning to night every day of the week, and also leaving with a deal in hand. That's really the goal.
Yeah, no, that would be great for you. And I know the highest level OTC and the listing on the NASDAQ are very close in terms of requirements. So like once you get to that level, it's like you've almost met, I think, almost all of the requirements to be listed on the NASDAQ.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. So I'm excited, and it will show like this company has come a long way, right? So we started our sales, and now financially we're being recognized as, you know, more of a serious company. And, you know, we're just not going to stop there. And I want to thank all my team, all our customers, I mean, our investors. You know, this is all for them, what we're doing. Being on the NYSE and talking about GlobeX data, or on the NASDAQ exchange, I'm doing it for all our investors and all our people who helped us, our techies, our customers, everyone. So I'm excited. I got everybody on my shoulder. I'm bringing everyone to New York. Yeah.
Well, it'll be an exhausting week for you, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of meetings, but bring your Red Bull. So
I'm up to the task. I have an espresso. I need 10 espressos a day, and I'm good. I can bring my portable Nespresso if I have to.
Well, and I know also you've launched a new ad campaign in New York, and you're going to be right around the exchanges. I mean, you're already at the Times Square, right on top of the NASDAQ, literally. So this will give you a chance to see those ads in person, do a lot of social media.
That's another thing. I want to tour all our ads. So now I'm excited. I'm going to take photos. We're going to do social media, as you said. I mean, standing in front of a 96-foot wide by 20-foot high ad of your company in the most important square in the world, that's something. I'm going to take a big photo and frame it, because that's going to be pretty amazing. It's kind of surreal. And when you're on site, the dimensions are so gigantic that you kind of feel the power of such an advertising that the entire world can see, plus all the subway ads too. We have 50 ads in different subway stations. So I'm going to do a tour of the ads. We're going to meet people, you know, obviously it's going to be all about pitching the company. And I'm excited. I'm very excited so that finally the investment community, the close-knit community is going to really know the whole story of GlobeX data and secure our product line.
Yeah. And then I know you'll probably part of your story will be what you plan to do, your roadmap for the rest of 2022. Can you kind of give me an idea of what's upcoming this year?
Sure. And what's really good is we have pre-made that roadmap. And I know the markets are very agitated right now, but it doesn't affect us at all. As a matter of fact, all the inside indicators of our sales are up. So average revenue per user, amount of subscriber compared to the previous month, I mean, money and all that. So our roadmap is simple. In Q1, by the end of March, we want to launch all our email application, email business services, private domain hosting, etc. Q2, which is going to be June through August, is going to be more about the secure voice, our voice encryption, and Secure Pro, which is a video conferencing tool. Until then, we want to basically push a little bit the advertising. We're going to push sales to businesses, SMBs. And then we're going to go really heavy on business advertising and targeting after the first half of the year, because by then we would have had all the tools, tweak everything, and also find the right target for the businesses. And the second half of the year is going to be pure hardcore sales. We're not going to forget our retail customer. We're going to continue on that path. So that's in terms of sales and product launch. In terms of the financial aspect, we're planning, obviously, we're hoping and planning to file our NASDAQ listing. Obviously, you know, I don't believe in that sort of miracle for our stock to be a $4 stock from 30 plus cents. So we're going to do a consolidation, but that will only happen at the very last minute when we know we have the funding, when we have the listing lined up. And then it's just what we call, you know, it's just a logistics at that point, because I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to do a consolidation or what's called sometimes a reverse split. But I say to them, when you have a business that has sales every day, that every hour somebody buys your product in a recurring manner, when you have the amount of funding that we're looking for, which is between 15 to 30 million, which can go a long way. And with that money, we can probably get about 300,000 to 500,000 users within a couple-year period, which translates to $60 million in sales, 55 million of it pure profit. It's worth it to sacrifice at the beginning. You consolidate your shares, and it doesn't prevent us later on to do forward stock split. Okay. Because people, and I'm happy to say that on TV, people need to understand, like, we have cash in the bank, we have no debt, we have sales. We need a sponsor, and that comes with funding. That funding will help the company really to explode to the next level. And if we have to consolidate the shares, we will do so, because that's just a cosmetic thing as far as we're concerned. If not, we would have stayed on the QX, but the real money comes from NASDAQ. These big investors, these investment funds and banks are on the NASDAQ, right? And that's unfortunately, as people say, yeah, a lot of companies, they do reverse split and then they go down and get shorted. You know, when you have a real business, don't be so concerned with the stock price every day. I'm going to quote Jeff Bezos, whom I admire tremendously, by the way, even though I'm not a fan of big data mining, and I don't think AWS does that a lot. But Jeff Bezos said on a Bloomberg interview that during the dot-com crash, his stock went from $100 to $6, okay? But he looked at the internal metrics, and they were selling more and more books than ever. So the business is what I want people to focus on, and the market will basically eventually display and value the company in the proper way that it should, if it doesn't do already, right? So right. I wouldn't worry about that so much. So the goal is to really get on that NASDAQ, get the funding for the big growth, because now we're done the proof of concept. We're good. We will have all our product. we need fuel in order to go to the next distance.
Well, and plus what you provide is a service that is needed in society. I mean, it's, it's not like it's, when you're selling socks or something. I mean,
No.
you're selling an important service. This is a problem. The hacks and the data mining and all that. So the business is legit and provides something that people want.
Absolutely. It provides, we get a lot of emails from people like really happy and thanking us that finally they can communicate with a service that they know nobody's spying on them and nobody's stealing their data and manipulating it. I mean, that's pretty intense. Like privacy should be, it is a right? It's not a privilege. You should have the right to your privacy. So we provide an amazing service, as you say. This is not a mining company where we just do copper and the people can't really relate to it. Everybody uses email and chat. And we provide the only service in the globe that is fully independent, that doesn't have open source or data mining, and is not hosted by big tech. I mean, it doesn't matter your political conviction from the left to the right. We are not political. I mean, that's what Switzerland is known for on top of it. And so we just provide you the service and then it's up to you. So we're getting a lot of traction actually. And that's why that funding is going to be important. With that funding, we can really accelerate more to the business level. And, we're going to do some deals with some platform. We're going to do white labeling. There's a lot of possibilities. And we're just moving in a very methodical manner. A lot of time when the market is down, I get these shareholders sometimes a bit nervous. And I'm saying, listen, nothing has changed since last year. We have a business plan. And we're not going to jump up and down every day to change it. Literally, we're kind of a boring company. We are following and executing our business plan. And if we can just execute our plan, we're going to do extremely well.
Well, and once you get listed on an exchange like a NASDAQ, that opens up a bunch of institutional investors as well. That
I have international institutions in Switzerland that are waiting for it. I mean, like let's say, sorry to have cut you, but like all the institution, all the fund, there's no limit. No limit. There's a need for this. It's a market that's big. I think cybersecurity is a $160 billion market I read the other day. So, and growing in a major way. And you have institutions in the US, I have institutions in Europe that are interested. When you're on NASDAQ, then, okay, they will look at you. They're like, okay, you're a serious company, you made it through, you have cash in the bank, you have sales, now we're willing to invest. And that's what we really need. We're not going to wait 5 years. The market is now, and the opportunity is now. And I'm very adamant with our board and our big investors that we're going to move ahead and we will choose a sponsor that suits us. And that's the best deal we can get for the company. That's one of my main missions this year.
Okay. Well, I know you've worked hard and it's going to be great to meet you in person and do the interviews looking face to face. It'll be great.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice. And I'm looking forward to it. I've been in New York in 2-3 years since I forgot when the pandemic started. That's how long it's been. Was
March of 2020. Yes.
That's the last time
I'll
I was
never
in New
forget
York.
that.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it coming next week and it'll be fun.
Okay. Thanks, Alain. We'll see you then.
Thanks.